The invitation arrived in a thick white envelope, gold letters, heavy paper, the kind that made people feel important just by touching it. My mother held it with shaking hands. "A charity gala?" she asked softly. "Why would they invite us?" I smiled. "Because they asked." She didn't know the truth. She never needed to. My mother, Evelyn Ross, had lived a quiet life. She sold homemade food, she wore simple dresses, she still used a phone with buttons. The city's elites saw her as nothing. To me, she was everything. Growing up, we had little. Our apartment was small, the walls were thin, but my mother made it warm. She taught me 3 things. Respect is louder than fear. Never show all your cards. Power works best in silence. She thought I worked in logistics. She didn't ask questions. I didn't lie, I just didn't explain. The city knew me by another name, one they whispered. The gala was held at the Grand Aurelia Hall. Crystal lights, marble floors, men in suits worth more than our old apartment. My mother walked beside me, holding my arm tightly. "I feel out of place," she whispered. "You belong everywhere," I replied. People stared, not at me, at her. They saw her shoes, her posture, her silence. Judgment filled the air. Near the champagne table, a woman laughed loudly. She leaned toward her friends and said, "Charity invites just anyone these days." Another man smirked. "Must be someone's housekeeper." They didn't lower their voices. My mother heard them. Her shoulders stiffened, but she smiled politely. I felt the room slow down. If they only knew. Then Arthur Belmont stepped forward, a donor, a loud one, known for buying influence. He looked my mother up and down. "Madam," he said mockingly, "are you here to serve or to beg?" Laughter rippled. My mother's face flushed. She opened her mouth to apologize. I placed my hand gently on hers. "Mother," I said calmly, "do you remember what you taught me about respect?" She nodded. Arthur chuckled. "And who exactly are you supposed to be?" I met his eyes. "Someone you should have recognized. Locked in. We're turning the heat up. Silent power, no shouting, no revenge energy. Just presence." Arthur Belmont laughed again. "Recognized," he said. "By who?" The room leaned in. People loved moments like this, quiet people being embarrassed. I didn't raise my voice. "By the people who keep this city breathing," I said. Arthur waved me off. Another nobody with borrowed confidence. Then a man near the bar froze. His glass slipped from his hand and shattered. He stared at me. "Wait," he whispered. "That face." He didn't finish. He bowed his head slightly. Not enough for others to notice, enough for those who mattered. One by one, things shifted. A banker stopped laughing. A politician stepped back. A security guard straightened and touched his earpiece. My mother noticed. She leaned toward me. "What's happening?" "Nothing," I said gently. "Just people remembering." Arthur frowned. "What's wrong with everyone?" No one answered him. Across the room, a tall man in a gray suit approached. His name was Leon Carver. Everyone knew him. No one knew who he worked for. He stopped in front of me and lowered his head. Leon spoke softly. "Boss." The word landed like thunder. Arthur laughed loudly. "Boss of what? A delivery company?" Leon didn't look at him. He turned to my mother. "It's an honor to finally meet you, ma'am." My mother blinked. "Me?" "Yes," Leon said. "You raised him well." Silence swallowed the room. Arthur's smile faded. I stepped forward slightly. "My mother taught me dignity when we had nothing. She taught me patience when I had power." I looked around the hall. This city runs because certain people choose order over chaos. Arthur swallowed. "You see criminals. They see leadership. No threats, no anger, just truth." Arthur backed away. I didn't know," he stammered. "I believe you," I said calmly. 2 security men appeared behind him, not mine. The hall's donors had already made calls. Arthur was escorted out. Not arrested, erased. My mother clutched my arm. "Who are you?" she whispered. I kissed her forehead. "Still your son." The music resumed, but the gala would never be remembered for charity. That night after the gala, my mother couldn't sleep. Neither could I. She sat at the small table in her kitchen, the same one she used when I was a child, same chipped edge, same chair. She said, "You didn't lie to me," slowly, "but you didn't tell me everything." "I wanted you safe," I replied. She nodded. "From who?" I looked at her. "From me." She reached across the table and held my hand. "You were always trying to protect something," she said. "I just didn't know it was the whole city." When I was 16, I made her a promise. "I won't become like them," I said, watching men fight over scraps in the street. She made me repeat it. "I won't lose my soul." And I meant it. I didn't choose violence, I chose control. I built networks instead of armies, rules instead of fear. The city didn't fear me, they depended on me. The next morning I received a message. One word: "We need to talk." It was from Daniel Cross, my first partner, my first mistake. He knew where I came from, he knew who my mother was, and he wanted something. Daniel met me at an old warehouse. "You embarrassed powerful people," he said. "They embarrassed themselves," I replied. He leaned closer. "The council is nervous." "I am the council," I said calmly. Daniel laughed. "You weren't always." That's when I knew. He was testing loyalty, and loyalty, in my world, was everything. That evening, my mother visited a community center. People greeted her warmly. They brought food, they offered help. She was confused. "I didn't know I had done so much," she told me later. "You did," I said. "You raised me with kindness in a cruel city." Without knowing it, she became my shield, and anyone who came from me would have to face her shadow first. The city didn't explode. It whispered. Meetings were canceled, shipments were delayed, messages were unanswered. That was how war began in my world. Not with guns, with silence. Daniel Cross started moving pieces quietly. He spoke to old partners, promised them balance, told them I was becoming careless. "They'll panic," Leon warned me. "Good," I said. "Panic reveals truth." One afternoon, my mother came home shaken. "A man came to see me," she said. My chest tightened. "Who?" He said his name was Daniel. He brought flowers. Flowers. Daniel had crossed the line. "He asked about you," she continued, "if you were under pressure." "What did you say?" I asked carefully. "That you've always carried more than you show." I closed my eyes. Daniel wasn't attacking me. He was testing my restraint. That night, I called a meeting. Not everyone was invited. Those who came sat quietly. Those who didn't made their choice. One by one, reports came in. Daniel's accounts frozen, his safe routes blocked, his allies backing away. No violence, just isolation. By morning, the city had decided. Daniel showed up unannounced. "You're overreacting," he said. "I just spoke to your mother." I stared at him. "That's why you're done." He laughed nervously. "You won't hurt me." "I won't," I said. "But no one will help you again." He stopped smiling. That evening, my mother sat beside me. "I met your friend," she said gently. "He's not a good man." "No," I replied, "he isn't." She squeezed my hand. "Power didn't change you," she said, "but it changed the people around you." She looked at me with calm eyes. "Promise me one thing," she said. "Whatever you rule, don't let it rule you." I nodded. That promise mattered more than the city. Daniel Cross disappeared from the city's conversations. Not arrested, not attacked, just removed. Banks refused him. Drivers ignored him. Doors closed quietly. In my world, being forgotten was worse than being feared. I didn't order it. The system did. Weeks later, another charity event was held. Same hall, same lights. This time, my mother walked in confidently. People greeted her first. Mrs. Ross, they said with respect. She smiled politely, still unaware of how far her shadow reached. During the speech, a council representative stepped forward. "We thank the individuals who keep this city stable," he said. His eyes met mine. The message was clear. That night, my mother finally asked what she had avoided. "Is what you do wrong?" I didn't answer quickly. "I stop chaos," I said. "I prevent suffering before it starts." She nodded slowly. "Then remember," she said, "power should protect the weak, not silence them." Those words became my law. The city learned something that night. Mockery is easy, judgment is loud, but respect belongs to those who move quietly. The people who laughed at my mother never spoke her name again. They didn't need to. They remembered. They say the city's most feared boss rules from the shadows. They're wrong. I don't rule from fear. I rule from restraint. And at the center of it all sits my mother, the woman they mocked, who raised the man they bowed to.